Yo, what is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Continuing in this lab, dissecting rookies. Gotta love it. We got a good one today, man. It is Travis Hunter, Heisman winner, Colorado Buffaloes. And we're going to be breaking down the defensive back tape for this man. We'll do the wide receiver film on another show because he's so good. It was an absolute joy and pleasure. Like you guys know, if you watch Travis Hunter at any point with the Buffaloes, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. But let's keep going. Pros, cons, grade score for Travis Hunter. You know, through my time, I've seen a ton of great defensive backs coming out of college football, going into the NFL draft, and Travis Hunter is definitely on one of those top-end echelons of players that we love to see. He's so damn good at his craft, but there is some situations in the cons that I will discuss on, could he improve? Nobody's perfect prospect, and there is the ability. The fact that he is going to the NFL Combine listed as a DB is extremely interesting, and I think it is probably the better side of things, knowing the fact that he will likely participate in some wide receiver drills as well, but showcasing the fact that he wants to be a defensive back going into the pros. I think he is getting a lot of pressure in that sense to say, pick one position. You can't do both in the NFL as much as you want to. But for measurables, as always, stumbling on myself, 6'1", 185. He is 21 years of age. Played in 22 games at Colorado, 66 tackles, 3 for loss, 7 picks on his record, 16 passes defended. Absolutely great. And then 1 forced fumble. No pick sixes, surprisingly enough. We didn't get that stat for as many stats that we did see a Travis Hunter pull, and great plays we did see him pull with the Buffaloes with primetime Deion Sanders. He's got so many pros. I'm not even going to hesitate and waste any time. Two-way player. We know this. Wide receiver, defensive back. This man never left the damn field unless he was dealing with an ailment or injury. He just constantly played. That was one thing that was, a big part of his Heisman winning candidacy, you want to say, is the fact of playing a dominating role at both the wide receiver and the defensive back position. And a lot of people were like, no, it needed to be to Ashton Genty. But I'm telling y'all, this was definitely warranted for him to win the Heisman. When do we see one guy play every snap, every game? It just does not happen in college football. Elite generational talent, without question in my mind. He is one of these guys. He's so gifted in so many ways, and when you're trying to put a staple on a player and say, how good are they? You throw out that generational tag all the time. This is definitely one of these cats, no question. Speed, very good. Hands are very good, and we've seen both in the defensive back game. We've seen it in the receiving aspect. His speed is very good, very quality as a defensive player. Stop, start, burst, recovery burst is just great. When you're seeing the fact where he does get beat out on some of these routes, his recovery time is so quick. It's just on point every time. He's never out of a play whatsoever. Reminds you of a lot of speedy, talented defensive backs like a Witherspoon going into Seattle. Extremely good on the recovery burst, the stop start burst, and the speed coming back. Exceptionally gifted athlete. Double pluses for me. This man can do it all, whether he's jumping up high, whether he's diving for balls, whether he is changing direction. Just extremely gifted of an athlete, and it's going to be one of the things that does carry him for a very long time in the pros, man. Instinctive play reader, ball hawk. You know he is. And this is so many things that, pro GMs, scouting departments are looking for, man. How much of a ball hawk are you? How instinctive are you when you are reading the offensive play, when you're reading the quarterback, when you're reading your wide receivers? He can do this extremely well. Why does it make him so instinctive? Because he plays wide receiver. At so many times, you see him running the wide receivers' routes for them and then making a play and jumping these balls. Absolutely phenomenal in the instinctive nature of his play as a defensive back. The positional adjustments, absolutely elite. In the zone coverage, baiting these quarterbacks, closing on these zones as fast as he does with that burst, with that instinctive playmaking ability. The adjustments are so damn good, and anybody cannot argue this whatsoever. Everybody gets a lapse from time to time, but when you're talking high-end percentages of how good a defensive back can be in this league, in zone coverage, he's just baiting you, waiting for you to throw that ball, and then he's going to pick that pass off. You would have liked to have seen him take a couple of these to the house, but it just did not happen. But baiting the quarterback definitely is very strong. Shadow technique, great. In man coverage, I have no qualms about it. He can stick to a wide receiver like glue on the hip, whether he's doing the slants, the goes, the sevens, the drags, he's there. If he's up close to the line of scrimmage, he is shadow technique in these guys extremely well. Inside-outside leverage technique is just sound in man coverage. Turns his hips to the direction to keep the wide receiver toward the sideline, does not allow them to come back in, and even when he does, his positional strength and adjustment on the inside still is there to break up passes. If it's on the outside, he hugs them to the sideline, takes away so many opportunities for the quarterback to throw the football to these wide receivers. The leverage technique, so good in man coverage as well. So you can say he can play both pretty damn well, in my opinion. Love how he plays on the defensive side of the ball. Back pedal, hip turning, extremely fluid. You don't see a problem. There are, technical issues when you talk about the footwork, but if he's in the full-on back pedal, full speed, hip turning is very strong, very quick, and very fluid. Absolutely love how he is able to do this. I mean, hip fluidity for a defensive back is priority one. You don't have this, you're going to get cooked in the pros. Hunter definitely has all these traits. The press punch, it's good. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a press-up corner that's going to win, against stronger wide receivers majority of the time. I think it's good. It's good enough. If we want to say it's definitely not great in this aspect, and one part of his game that he could definitely increase. Again, added muscle mass, leaner frame, but he does make up for it in so many ways. The hand fighting that he does do, it's very strong. So press, punching, the chest play, whatever you want to say, getting him off their timing routes, it's there. It's just good. It's not great, man. He holds his own in the contain versus the run as well. He's an active tackler, not shy of contact, but it is not great as well. He's definitely has to work on this aspect as well, where you do see some missed tackles. But, I mean, he's an active tackler. He's going after the ball carriers. He's not afraid to do it, where we have seen other guys from the past where they're extremely sound at tackling at the defensive back position. You don't necessarily have to be elite at this. You just have to get in the way, grab some, shoestring tackles, at least stop some of these ball carriers, wide receivers, running backs. But at least in this sense, I mean, do I want him to lower his shoulder versus a very big running back? Probably not. But at least get in the direction and in the way in. He does it. He's definitely not shy of making contact. The motor does not stop in this man. Like I said, plays every snap. He just won't quit. He just continues to play strong, and he's very good. 7 picks, 16 passes defended at Colorado. Heisman winner, like we know, like I covered. Very good, very strong. His tape as a defensive back is so damn good, man. But for some cons, you know what it is? I think playing both wide receiver and defensive back, maybe hurt his elite development at one of these positions. He should have picked one. I understand why he's trying to showcase the fact that he can do both, like Deion Sanders tried to do in his time from time to time, play both sides of the ball. But, I mean, Deion knew he was a defensive back. He was going to play defensive back. He's a Hall of Famer as a defensive back. Travis Hunter kind of sees the similar writing on the wall, where he can be sprinkled in offensive systems from time to time, make some plays. But if you're going to pick one, pick the defensive back and become elite at that. And I think that with a little bit more, time just dedicated to this part of his craft, we wouldn't even be talking about whether he's elite already as a generational talent, prospect coming into the NFL draft. But I think we would be talking with even higher praise had he just picked one side of the football. Maybe I'm overreaching on this one, but I think this could inhibit, the elite development already in his young career, man. Lean frame, like I said, needs to add some more strength, some more muscle mass. Not a great concern. 185, he gets up to 195, almost 200. I think it's not going to inhibit his game whatsoever. He's just going to add, better ability to, hand fight force with these guys with some more strength. It's not a grave concern. Meal plan, weight room in the NFL is going to clean that up without question. He does have something of an injury history. We did see some of this while he was playing wide receiver, took a lot of big shots, went into the medical room, missed some games. maybe this is a concern. I'm still not there yet where I believe it's a grave concern, but I mean, it's definitely something to note and wonder about. So we'll see how this does go down. It's not a crazy injury history like an ACL tear or anything. I believe it was a spleen or a kidney when he got smoked in his first year with Colorado. Either way, I mean, you got to add some more muscle mass, add some more weight, especially if you're going to be playing the wide receiver spot. You don't want to put your body in situations, especially with the fact of fatigue. You're playing all the snaps. You're going to get injured. You're going to get tired. Your body is going to break down. So there is something of a concern, but nothing crazy for me to get, bent out of shape about. He can overshoot the footwork momentum at times. You will see him take a little bit more chances and placing him out of position. Not necessarily liking that about his game. But you get it, man. With a guy who believes in his skill set, he is that ball hawk, always looking for the interceptions, always looking for the pass breakups. He just sometimes you see him kind of on the back, on the back pedals. He's on his heels a little bit, and it does inhibit, the burst to come off. It's very rare, but you do see it from time to time. He's got to clean some of these things up. But again, everybody's going to get hit at some point, and learning from those mistakes, he still is extremely solid. The footwork to me, still very strong. Just you see where the momentum of his body and his speed does, get removed on the back pedal from time to time with some bad footwork steps, man. He can be a bit handsy at times, and we've seen this, the clutching, the grabbing, something like Sauce Gardner. Everybody was talking. Sauce grabs, pulls all the damn time, never gets any flags, but there is a skill to that as well. There's a point where you can tug, pull, keep them close to you, but then release where the ref doesn't necessarily see it. So, I mean, if you're not cheating, you're not playing. So it is one of these situations where I think that this was good coaching from a Deion Sanders, but he can get handsy at times. I will not be shocked we do see some more pass interference calls on this man in the pros, but if he does continue to grind the way he is, the handsy, the, grabbing, pulling of jerseys sometimes, hand on the hip, it's okay, but you put the hand on the hip, as long as you don't turn the hip, you're still good. Just as long as you're not tugging on that jersey, I think he'll be just fine. But you do see it quite a bit, especially if he is, like I said, with the footwork that isn't necessarily sharp, he will tug and pull to pull this wide receiver back at times. Tackling strength definitely needs improvement. There are missed tackles. Believe it was 5 or 6 or 7 that he missed this past season. But again, active tackler, he's not shy, but you just got to add a little bit more strength to your overall game, and I think it's just going to do wonders for this man overall. But for grading purposes, man, Travis Hunter was an absolute pleasure on the defensive side. I know it's going to be even better on the offensive side because we like offense for fantasy football as well. But, I mean, for your favorite NFL team, it'd be a gift to get a Travis Hunter. 83.3% is a great score for me. Yeah, I mean, everything you're looking for out of your defensive back, everything you're looking for a, prototype, blue chip type of player coming out of college football. This guy just does nothing but play football. His off-field stuff isn't even close to being a problem. He's grinder, man. He's been coached by one of the best defensive backs in the NFL, and I absolutely love the potential prospects of him being something extremely special in the pros. So whoever that is, Travis Hunter, defensive back. Like I said, I will cover the wide receiver aspect of his game later down the line, but I mean, it was such a good pleasure to chop up this type of film, and he's going to be a quality player in the pros for many years to come, without question. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. What do y'all think of Travis Hunter, the defensive back? Throw it in the comments. Definitely we could talk it out, but we'll see you next time. I am out.